Welcome to Cruisin' the Barrio Rewind. That's right, the radio show that's taken over the world has now taken over television with our friends over at RoX-TV.com. Don't you dare go away. We'll be right back. On this episode of Cruisin' the Barrio Rewind, we spoke to Dr. Fink of Prince and the Revolution, and he touches on Prince's drug use. Let's listen to that right now. And by the way, make sure you subscribe.
Forever, you would never think, but death could never become a Prince. But, you know, of course it comes with everyone. But my God, man, you know, for it to happen that quickly, you know. No, go ahead, yeah.
I thought he was going to be one of those guys that, you know, lived to be well into his 80s or more. I just thought that would be him. You know, and his father lived into his mid-80s. And I just thought that would be the same for Prince. I mean, but I was fully aware that Prince had struggled with opioid issues for quite a while. But I didn't know that he was still having problems. I knew that there was a time that he was taking it for pain in his hips.
Yes.
And that information was coming to me from reliable sources within his camp.
Oh, geez.
And I said, oh, geez, you know, I hope he's okay. You know, I hope he doesn't, you know, because they were saying we think he's addicted to it. And this is like as far back as, you know, the mid-90s.
Oh, my gosh.
So people were telling me this. So, you know, there's not much you can do when, of course, I wasn't working for him anymore. I think if I had still been in his camp and if I had been aware of the situation, I may have tried to do more to intervene. And I really felt that people around him were not intervening quickly enough.
Would it be safe to say that there was a lot of enablers?
Yes and no. I mean, the issue is, when you work for someone like Prince, they, you know, control everything to such an extent. It's difficult for anyone working for him to tell him no.
Sure.
So either you're going to tell him no, and if you're adamant about telling someone like that no, they're going to get those drugs anyway, no matter what you do, unless you get family members to do an intervention somehow.
Right.
And he wasn't very close to his family anymore at that time. And then finally, I believe when Kirk Johnson, his closest assistant, finally tried to do the intervention, it was just one day too late, really. Jesus. I mean, I think that as soon as he landed that plane and died on the plane, because he did, his heart had stopped and they revived him.
Oh, my God.
That's when the intervention should have taken place right there. Much faster.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Hindsight is 20/20. I don't fault Kirk one at all for what happened because it's so difficult. I've had my own experiences with people who have been addicted to drugs, including my sister-in-law, who I had to do 2 interventions on with my own brother.
Oh, geez.
For opioids.
Man.
And this was back in like 1999.
See, and in the 90s, it wasn't as publicized as it is now. You know, like we didn't know the dangers of it back then. You know, and, Yeah. So the addiction part could happen.
It's just tough. It's a very difficult situation, and of course, we know how destructive it is in our society right now, and you know. The awareness level is rising, of course, and more is hopefully being done to help people
so
struggling
Doc,
with this problem.
So Doc, we were blessed to have a revival of the Revolution.
To hear more of this interview, subscribe to RoX-TV, and don't forget to tune in to Cruisin' the Barrio every Friday and Saturday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CRBRadio.com.